at Kensington Market, Toronto's most culturally diverse neighborhood. It is so diverse, in fact, that it has been named a Canadian Historic Site in 2006, and the locals have done a great job keeping all the chains out of this neighborhood. So everything you're going to see here is all local and so authentic to Toronto's culture. So I am super excited to show you around, and we're going to take a look at some of the shops and also get some amazing food here. I'm also well into the van build at this point. We have solidified the layout of the van and Nate has started building the foundations. And I wanted to spend some time to talk about the pros and cons of going with a fixed bed versus a convertible dinette layout. And I think that this decision is the biggest because it will dictate the choices that you have for the rest of the layout of your van. I have been wrestling with this decision for a long time while thinking about the van build, and if you stick around to the end, I'm going to share with you what I actually ended up with and why. I'm just walking down the main road in Kensington, Augusta. There are so many restaurants to choose from, I don't know what I want. There's Mexican, Japanese, Indian, Chinese, Caribbean, Sri Lankan, Jamaican, there's Lebanese, there's Greek, there's it goes on and on. And there's Italian, one of my favorite pizza restaurants in the city is in Kensington. I forgot to mention this, but Kensington Market has amazing vintage shops. They even sell used workwear where you can get army gear. It's sick. So I'm actually in the market for another jean jacket that I want to use when I start living in the van. So hopefully we'll be able to find one today. Okay, I went into Golden Patty and got a spicy beef patty. So good. So in my last van, Snowy, I went with a dinette layout, which means that you can change it from dining table to bed, and it was a U-shaped layout, which meant that you can actually kind of have this day bed set up while the dinette is still up. So if you're tired, you can still lie down even though the table is on. So I really loved that layout. It made my van feel very large because the seating area was so big and I didn't have to use another part of the van to create a seating area for myself. And yeah, it was great for that purpose. I think that setup is really nice if comfort and space is a priority. But there are some things that I will note about that layout. One is that there was very little garage space. The table and the bed are lower to the ground. So if I'm thinking I want to have gear, I want to have a bike and a snowboard and rock climbing gear, that layout is a no-go right off the bat. Another thing about the dinette conversion is that it's not the most comfortable. So I bought a 3-inch organic latex memory foam from Amazon for $200 or something, and I used that to cut and create the cushions for that setup. And it was comfortable from it served its purpose. I was able to sleep just fine on it every night. But I would say that if you're a side sleeper, that would not have worked out. And then the other thing I will note too is that at first, putting all the mats together to create the bed portion was comfortable. I didn't really feel the gaps in between all the cushion edges, but then somehow over time the gaps became more noticeable. I think as the cushion starts to wear down and as the upholstery starts to loosen, it's just not a tight, snug fit anymore. So I remember near the end I was getting frustrated with the bed because I would feel this gap underneath my body when I was sleeping, and that was super uncomfortable. And there is a workaround to that. You can put like a topper on top, but again, I just didn't know where I would keep that topper. Like I could keep it on one side of the bench area, but that would kind of eliminate a lot of seating area for that side, so I didn't want to do that. Another thing about the dinette conversion is if you want to have a lot of social gatherings inside your van. But I have to say, I know a lot of people talk about the benefits of being able to host people in your van, like eating in your van and stuff, but that's kind of like making the argument that you need a bigger house because when people come to visit, they need somewhere to stay. Like, you're making a very big decision based on something that happens very infrequently. So my point of view of that is you can eat outside. Like, you're in nature, you're there to explore the outdoors, and it's not necessary to eat your meal that takes 20 minutes to finish inside your van. The biggest reason I found online why people went for a fixed bed setup is they're too tired at the end of the day to put their bed together. And I think that is one of the things that people underestimate. Like, people go for the dinette conversion setup thinking they won't mind putting their bed together every night, and then I often see online that those people regret that decision. For me, that actually wasn't an issue at all. It's one of those things that I really think you won't know until you try. And so another thing I think about when I think about user experience design is testing to see what you would actually do. At home, put all your bedding away, stuff it in your closet, move your bed like in a weird way if you can, like the mattress, like have it so that you have to like adjust your mattress, and then try it for a week or two and see how tiring it gets to put your bed together. Because it's easy to assume in your head that you know yourself that well, but I've just seen so many people change their minds after they've done it, that it makes me think it's worth testing it. I think I must have looked at like 1,000 jean jackets. There are so many vintage stores in Kensington Market. Like, every store here is a vintage store. The vibes are very hipster, very hippie, very artsy, very eclectic. And this is, if I'm gonna find this jacket, it's gonna be here. Like, this is where it is. I low-key kind of love this jacket because somebody has sewn an additional pocket in here. So there's like more pockets, which is, yeah. What do you think? Is it cute? Bro, there's like so many stores in Kensington that I don't know like if I will find a better jacket or if I should keep looking and try to find one. Okay, I decided to get the jacket. Woo! You will be seeing me wearing this jacket in future van life videos. It will be my main go-to jacket, hopefully. Hopefully, I will not regret this purchase. Hi.
You want a menu?
No, I think I'm gonna get one birria taco, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I walked around Kensington like 5 times at this point, trying to decide where I want to eat next. And I decided to go for this restaurant because it reminds me of Mexico. So I got a birria taco. I'm just waiting for that. One taco? Thank you. It is like 21 degrees outside, but it feels much hotter than that. So I went across the street to get fresh cut watermelon and they were charging $12. Did not feel like Mexico after I saw that. So I decided not to get it and save that money for another snack later. So a birria taco, the beef is made in this consomme thing and it's really good. You dip the taco in that. Okay, I'm right back in Mexico again. That's good. And for the van, I need to have a place to store a foldable bike because what I learned from the last time with the van is that I was really annoyed having to drive the van everywhere just to like explore a town or an area, and it felt cumbersome. So I want to try van life with the bike this time to see if that makes exploring more fun and easier, and I can bring Archie with me too in my backpack. So that's one. And then two is I need a comfortable bed to sleep on. I'm approaching my 40s, so I cannot have perfect sleeping on whatever anymore. Like I need like a good bed setup. So that leads me to my conclusion. After thinking long and hard about it and what my main goals are and what my main needs are, I decided to go with a fixed bed setup. The other thing I realized with my last van setup is I had mentioned earlier that the dinette conversion will make the van feel very spacious, and that is good, like especially when the weather is bad and you're inside all day, that is good. But that actually goes against my primary goal of spending more time in nature, and I'll tell you why. It was so spacious and comfortable in my last van, Snowy, that I was not encouraged to spend more time outside. Like, it felt so spacious in there that I could sit in my van all day long. And so I think for me, if I know that the best thing for me is to be sitting outside more, spending more time outside, reading, drawing, whatever it is I'm doing, then I need to intentionally build that into the layout design. And so the fixed bed layout is going to make the van feel much smaller. So my hope with that is that it will encourage me to spend more time outside. And I'm still gonna create the layout in a way that it does feel somewhat spacious and comfortable, using light colors, nothing too busy, thinking about a layout where the cupboards are not too large so they don't take up too much space, and also making sure that I'm minimizing my possessions as much as possible so I don't need to have things like a bulky wardrobe. Like those things take up tons of space and a lot of people have those in their van, but I'm gonna go without and not have more clothes. So that's sort of my thinking process with the van and why I decided to go with the fixed bed versus the dinette conversion. I hope that was insightful and helpful, because I think all of us have watched a ton of van tour videos, but people don't really go into a deep conversation as to why they picked one layout over the other. And the only one I really hear about is that they don't want to make their bed every night. And then the second one is they need storage for their things. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about both of those things. I think it's worth diving a little bit deeper, because once you make this decision, it is very hard to undo it without having to also update the rest of the layout in the van. So yeah, this one was a toughie, but I did it. It's done. And I know it might seem a bit overkill to be like thinking about this decision so much, but like this van is expensive and I'm putting a lot of hopes and dreams on like the van helping me achieve the kind of life that I want. And so there's a lot more pressure this time around to get it right. Like I'm really hoping that I will not regret the design decisions I make with Stardust, and that I will have Stardust for a very, very, very long time. And so yeah, like everything I thought about for Stardust was so much more intentional than with Snowy, and I hope that it will be a good fit for me. I really do, and I can't wait to show you all like what it looks like at the end when I go pick it up. Nate hasn't sent me any videos of it, so I'm not able to give you any previews, but he says they're like, yeah, almost done the foundation. So I'm like really, really excited, and yeah, and I can't wait to go on adventures in Stardust. I feel like this whole year and a half has just been a waiting pattern, a waiting period of starting a new adventure, and I am trying to make the most of Toronto and like seeing my friends and family and going out and stuff. But honestly, most days I'm like kind of in, like I don't go out much, and so the city has a lot to offer, but where I am in this stage of my life, it doesn't appeal to me as much anymore, because yeah, I've lived in the city my whole life. I've done that like many times over. So I'm excited for exploring nature and deepening my connection with nature in this phase of my life. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that it was fun and insightful to watch, and just keep giving you a glimpse of like my thought processes and like how I think through stuff like this, and that you saw a piece of Toronto that I cherish very deeply. I love Kensington so much. I've been here throughout my teens and well into adulthood, and it's been just a blessing, I think, for Toronto and the community in Toronto. So I will end it here, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye!